Good evening, and welcome back to Common Sense for Uncommon Times. I'm Robin, and tonight we're going to go ahead and talk about food disparity. With things that are going on in the world today, this is a major concern and something that we can start prepping for right away and actually do with reasonable cost. So, first, let's discuss why there's a possibility of food disparity. There's actually several different reasons. The first one, of course, we're already noticing the how expensive food has gotten. The one that everybody keeps bringing up, of course, is the eggs. Eggs have gotten extremely expensive, but with cause. Bird flu has gone through our poultry ranches, and this has caused the chain reaction, of course, chickens having to be put down. You can't sell chickens to eat if they've had bird flu or have bird flu or died from bird flu, and their eggs are no good. So we actually were going through an egg shortage. Now, I don't know how much they've gotten this under control. Hopefully, it's a little bit better than it was, but until that's contained, eggs are going to be expensive. The second thing that we've already noticed, of course, is just meat in general. And once again, the bird flu was actually going through the beef ranches. They had some of the meat have issues. So we've noticed that, and I'm sure you've all noticed that there has been a lot of recalls on various food items as well, for different bacterias and such that are quite dangerous. So that's causing additional food prices to go up, because when you have a lot of recalls and such, now you've got, a lower supply to meet the demand. What we're looking at in the future, though, because bird flu does come and go, obviously, what we're looking at in the future is that we may be seeing mass deportations of our farm workers. Now, these farm workers are in the positions they are, not because the ranchers want to pay $2 an hour or something like that, because they most certainly don't do that. They need them because we, as American citizens, don't want to do that work. If we have these mass deportations and we have our workers either leaving on their own or being rounded up and deported, there's not going to be anyone to pick and to care for our fields of food. And it's not just the fields. The cattle ranches, they're maintained by immigrant workers. Also, our chicken ranches, our pig ranches, pretty much everything in farming that you can imagine is actually maintained by our immigrant workers, because, once again, we as American citizens, even when we're out of work, we do not want to do this type of work. A good example of that is construction back when I was a teenager in my early 20s. And let me tell you, that's been a while ago. That was a good job to get. And I can remember a lot of my male friends, striding to get that kind of work. But it's labor intensive. And today, that's not the kind of work that, again, we as American citizens want to do. So if you notice when you go by new construction, you're going to see our immigrant friends doing a huge chunk of the construction. So if we have these mass deportations, we have no one to pick the food out of the fields, to harvest out of the groves, to tend to the cattle, the pigs, the chickens. Where's our food going to come from? Here in California, we actually provide approximately 20% of the nation's food. If our workers are gone, so is that food. The other problem that we're facing is, of course, with tariffs. If a large tariff is slapped onto Mexico, that is actually also going to increase food disparity. Well, it's going to bring up prices, number one, and it's also going to make it more difficult to get the food here. You see, the seasons for growing in the States is a little different than it is in Mexico because Mexico is so much further south. So a lot of times, during the year when we're out of season for our fruits and vegetables, Mexico can actually provide those fruits and vegetables. With the tariffs on there, they're going to be far too expensive if they manage to make it over here at all. Mexico does provide, and I'm sorry, I don't have the exact percentage. Let me see. Look it up while we're talking. But and if Mexico decides not to be a trade partner with us because of the tariffs, because they do have other places they can send their food, then we won't have that food coming in at all. So we are definitely looking at food disparity, either because it will be too expensive, which you're already seeing prices go up, or because it just won't be available. It won't be there. And I am going to see what that percentage is. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here in dead silence, and that is absolutely awful. Okay, well, here you go. So, Mexico also is a major supplier of food to the U.S. here. It's about 23.5% of the U.S.'s agricultural imports. That's a lot. So if we lose 20% just in California for the loss of our migrant workers, and then we lose another 23% from Mexico, or that 23% is at premium cost because, well, supply and demand. I mean, here we go again, supply and demand, plus tariffs on top of that. Food is going to just be hard to come by if you can afford it at all. So, solution. What can we do about that? What I have been doing, and I've been doing it for a while, so you might have to do it a little bit quicker, but the time has come to stock your pantry, not your freezer. Maintain your freezer like you normally would. And I'll explain why on that in just a bit. But your pantries, and I don't mean just your kitchen. any cupboard that you have that you can clear out and you can stock, I would stock. And I would really search your stores. Don't automatically just go to, your normal store. Actually check and look at prices. Try to find where it's still as low as possible. Canned food, the date that's everybody assumes is the expiration date on the can, that is not the expiration date. Canned food actually can last many, many years as long as the can itself is not compromised. The date on the can is actually the best buy date, which means that is when the flavor of the item inside the can is at its peak, or what they assume will be its peak. Now, we've eaten canned food that is 2 or 3 years past that date, and it tastes exactly the same. It hasn't gone down in flavor, but when you do stock up on food like this, you do have to maintain it. You've got to check it, make sure you don't have any compromised cans. Do not buy cans that are already bent, that have creases in them. You want nice, smooth cans, and that way you can make sure that they have not been compromised at all. The other thing is, and I'm reaching, so bear with me here. The other thing is that you really want to think of not just your typical canned peaches or vegetables, soup, whatever. Although all that's good, because you do want a good supply of fruit, because you may not be able to get fresh fruit. So a good supply of fruit, a good supply of vegetables of all kinds. And I'll explain how much is a good supply shortly. Also, though, you want to go a step beyond that, because if you're having trouble getting groceries, you need to be able to make a meal. So make sure that you buy rice. And if you have one of those, sealers, food sealers, this is what I did. I bought 20 pounds of jasmine rice. It's actually cheaper when you buy it that way. And I just scooped it out a cup at a time, because for us, actually a cup of dried rice is too much. It's not really the amount that we eat. But I did it a cup at a time and just sealed it like that. Of course, then you have to worry about, okay, where to put all those bags? Well, very simply, you want to purchase some food grade 5-gallon buckets and put your rice bags in those. That will keep pests out, and that will keep the food fresh. The other thing that would be really good to buy, that I don't know about you, but I've always deemed as something that isn't really healthy or what have you, but when you're trying to make a meal, it's rather important, or it can be important, because it can help fill you up, is ramen. Yeah, ramen. What everybody ate during college, ramen. But seriously, you can take a packet of ramen, a can of mixed vegetables, and some Spam, and I'm going to kind of cover Spam in just a little bit, and actually have a full meal. I'll go ahead and cover it now. A good recipe for something like that, for those of you who don't know, is to simply take the Spam. Now, if you have high blood pressure, you're going to want to do some prep, and you're going to want to make sure that first off, when you stock up on Spam, that you buy the 25% less salt. So already you've cut the salt. Then when you go to prepare it, you are going to want to boil it first. And boiling it will remove a good chunk of the salt out, which is good. So once you've got the salt out, then go ahead and take the Spam out of the water and pat it dry, and then slice it and fry it. Slice it into strips or cubes or whatever you prefer, and then fry it. While you're doing this, go ahead and prepare your ramen. Throw some vegetables in it. Throw the Spam on top of that. And you have a meal, and you have a meal that's high in protein and also has vegetables to go along, and it will fill you up. So these are the kind of things that we're looking at. Simple, really old-fashioned types of food that used to be kept in everyone's cabinets, but aren't any longer. So, anyways, I digress a little bit there. So ramen is another one, and you do the same thing with it. Buy it by the boxes, and I don't mean a 6-pack or something like that. Really get it by the boxes. You can get, let's see, I believe it's a 44 box of ramen, and you can actually get it relatively cheap, especially if you hit the Asian markets. You can get it for a pretty decent price. Same thing with the jasmine rice. The Asian markets are absolutely excellent for that. And the ramen, you just simply take it out of the box, throw it into your 5-gallon food grade bucket, and seal the lid. Now it's going to be pest free, it's going to be kept fresh, and you can store it. Because remember, until we really start hitting problems, you're going to be eating as normal, doing things as normal. So this is being set aside for if you start running into trouble making ends meet. Now, the other thing is pasta. Pasta is very satisfying and filling. And you can do just a ton of stuff with it. A good example would be if you're buying pasta. Obviously, you either want to have the stuff on hand to make your own sauce, or, have jars of sauce available. You can if you're having problem getting fresh meat and you've stocked up on canned chicken, everybody thinks tuna. Tuna's great. High protein, good to go. Only so much you can do with it, though. And you got to kind of keep that in mind. What all can you do with it? So, you can make tuna casseroles. You can make, tuna patties, stuff like that. But there's not a big variety. Canned chicken, and you're talking, you can do fettuccine, you can do chicken salad, you can do just pretty much anything that you would normally do with chicken, with, normal chicken. You can even take it and spice it up for chicken tacos. So, canned chicken, that's a big one. Spam, canned chicken, tuna, and you're going to want to, again, really shop those stores and find the deals on them, because Every one of the things I'm talking about is going up as we speak. And if you can find a place that will sell it in multiples, multiples tend to be cheaper than individual cans. So, try that. Try the various big box stores. Great too. Okay, so let's see. We covered definitely, fruits, vegetables, that sort of thing. And then, of course, the things that you need to actually make the meal. Mayonnaises, mustards. If you use ketchup that much, then ketchup. You're going to want to have a surplus of that on hand. You're going to want to have, the regular condiments, Worcestershire, maybe some A1, just all the various condiments, your peppers, your salts, your seasonings. Well, this is very important because you've got to figure out how to make a meal out of what you're buying. You're going to also want to stock up on the simple things. If you eat sugar, flour, because you may have to make your own breads or biscuits. Cornmeal's a great one to stock up on. And once again, to store that, very simple. Same thing. Put it in your sealer and seal it up in various quantities, the types of quantities that you think you're going to need. And in that way, if you don't need the whole bag that you sealed, you just simply get a mason jar, put the remainder in the mason jar, and keep it fresh that way. For people that are worried about, it getting buggy, I don't think that really happens too much these days unless some of the pantry moths get into your pantry. But you can always buy the flour, freeze it for a few days, and then seal it up. Go ahead and measure it out for however much you think you're going to need and seal it up. And again, put in your 5-gallon buckets and seal that up. And then that way, it's contained and it's safe. Now, quantity. How much do you need? Well, that's such a hard question to answer. I would really anticipate having at least 3 to 4 months, if not more, of extra food on hand. And, why so much? Well, if the food does go up or if it does become hard to come by, it might be a full year before you actually get through this hard time and get things back on the road again. The other thing too that a lot of people don't think about is that, yes, the mass deportations will be a problem, the tariffs will be a problem, all these little things that are popping up are turning into a problem. But a lot of us aren't even looking at some of the obvious things around us too. We are now, with the climate change, having superstorms. We're not having, normal winters. I mean, geez, where I'm at right now, here it's wintertime. It's supposed to be cold. We're supposed to have, some freezes about this time. And it's like spring. And it's not supposed to be. That's also going to throw off any fields, that are planted in our orchards. That all throws off the growing of the food as well. I'm sure you guys kind of noticed how small the tomatoes were this year. They just kept getting smaller and smaller because they're not doing well with the climate change. And then simple, just Mother Nature things. I mean, we have volcanoes that are all of a sudden showing some life that we weren't expecting to show some life. Now, St. Helens is starting to grumble a little bit. Whether or not she'll actually blow, I don't know. We're seeing a lot of earthquakes along the west coast. Nothing huge, nothing overly damaging, but the scientists are saying it's not relieving the pressure. The pressure is actually building. So if we're having a food shortage already, and then we have a natural disaster, no matter where in the country you live, tornadoes, hurricanes, what have you, we have a natural disaster, we're already food short, then what? So it's going to be imperative this year to just really stock up and think of everything. If you can find some shelf-stable milk that has a long life, get it. Condensed and evaporated milk, get it. Powdered eggs, they're great because you can bake with them. I've used them. They're great. They're expensive. They are expensive, but they're a must-have on your shelves. Powdered milk. I like to keep even powdered cream, so it has a little bit higher fat content, and you can mix it, half and half with the powdered milk, and now all of a sudden you have half and half for coffee. If you're a big coffee drinker, boy, you better stock up on that. So that's something we need to start working on now, before the prices are so high that you can't afford to do it. And like I said, as much as you can get, as cheaply as you can get. Look at those canned meats. Look at all the canned meats. Go through there. I even found diced ham. Just basically little ham cubes in a can that you could throw in beans and high protein, filling, flavorful. And that's the other thing too, beans. Oh my goodness. There's every kind of bean that you can imagine, from lima beans all the way down to the pintos to red beans. If you have some red beans, some diced tomatoes, stock up on those, everything tomato sauce, fresh tomatoes, tomato paste, diced tomatoes, whole tomatoes even, stock up on it. Because with that, some red beans, some diced tomatoes, some spices, and you have chili. Nice, simple meal, but that's filling and that is high protein. Plus a lot of other nutrients as well because of the tomatoes. The tomatoes are excellent, just for nutrition. So, I really don't want to be an alarmist. I hope I haven't been. But on the other hand, I kind of hope I was, because this can get really ugly. This is going to be a time like we have never seen in our lifetimes. In listening to The Economist, they're literally saying that this will be a recession at least, well, no, I take this back. It would be a recession at minimum worst than 2008. And more than likely it will be a depression as bad, if not worse, than the Great Depression. And food scarcity then was just horrific. I've been kind of watching my little go-to just to kind of get a handle on what's going on is to watch Warren Buffett. What is he doing? Now, not everybody likes him, trusts him, what have you, and that's okay. That's okay. But the one thing I do know is that typically if Warren Buffett is, say, buying stock's going to go up. He just has his thumb on it. He just really has his thumb on how the markets work. If he starts selling off his stock, you need to start getting worried. Warren Buffett is selling off his stock, including Bank of America stock. That was actually reported. So I would be wary of that. Being that in 2008, we did have the too big to fail banks fail. So just kind of be wary. But for now, first project, stock the pantries. Let's get them stocked. Like I said, buy for your freezer like you always do. I'm not overly concerned about what's in the fridge or the freezer because, I don't know energy-wise in whatever area you be. There may be some concerns with power due to some conflicts with another country, Canada, who does supply a lot of our power in certain areas of the U.S. So I wouldn't be rushing out to buy, half or a side of beef if you don't normally buy the side of beef. Buy what you normally buy for the freezer. And just keep that maintained like you always do. Because if for some reason we did lose power, you don't want to lose, $1,000 worth of food. If you stock up on the canned food, it's not going to go bad. It's going to be in the pantry, waiting for you. It's not going to be exactly what you wanted, but it's there. And remember, there's all kinds of shelf-stable food. There's even, bacon, what's it called, chopped bacon in little bags that you can buy, or even big bags in some places. That's meat. That's protein. That's flavor. It works great in everything. And just be very creative. Think about the things that you like to prepare, and then think a little bit beyond that. Think a little more simplistic, old-fashioned kind of meals. Oh, that is the other thing. Speaking of old-fashioned, oatmeal. Because in buying all this other stuff, you're also going to need fiber. So very important. Stock up on the oatmeal. The same thing. Buy it in, I like to buy the flavored oatmeal. So obviously I buy the biggest box I can, take it out of the box, dump it in the 5-gallon bucket, and there you have it. You can get plain oatmeal in a 3 to 5 gallon food grade bucket. You just buy it that way. So it's already sealed, it's already ready to go. It's just, you just put it away. So that's a good one too. But really think outside the box. And if you have any ideas of your own that maybe I didn't mention, go ahead and put them in the comments. Because there are just so many different things that you can buy that is shelf stable, that will be there for you if you're unable to buy at the market what you need. It's not food, and please don't do a toilet paper rush. Be considerate of your neighbors. They need it too. But definitely buy a little extra. Not 3 carts full, but a little extra. And just buy a little extra each time. So if you normally buy 1 pack, buy 2. And then you've got that stocked up as well. So anyways, that's my input for today. I do hope that was helpful. I hope I hope it wasn't too alarmist type thing. But like I said before, in a way, I kind of hope it was as well. I don't want to see anyone go hungry. And this is going to get bad before it gets good. I really do believe that. And I don't like to be someone who sits there and says, the sky's going to fall. I'm pretty good at just waiting things out, but this is not one we can wait out. I don't believe. And obviously buy according to your family size. I can't tell you the quantities to buy because you and you alone know what your household needs. If you're a single individual, you know how much you need. If you're a family of 5, you got to go buy that. So just get out there and look for those sales, look for those deals. Don't go broke. Because buying up, because that's exactly what we're trying to avoid is spending, buying food that we can't afford. We want to have it, we want to buy the food on sale that we can't afford, have it in our pantry, so when we're unable to get what we need, it's already there for us and we can make do with what we have. Obviously, I was going to end it, but I'm going to add one more thing here. Obviously, you want to, I guess I did mention sauces, pasta sauces, enchilada sauces, all the things that make food taste good. Because with canned chicken, you can make chicken enchiladas if you got the sauce. You can make chicken chili verde. Oh my goodness. And you've got a good dinner. And you say, what about tortillas? How are you going to do that without tortillas? You can make tortillas. You just buy yourself a big old bag of masa, and then you find the recipe and make sure you have everything you need for tortillas in the cupboard. And you'll make your own tortillas. Very simple. Very, very simple. Flour tortillas, corn tortillas, very easy to make. Just follow the recipes and you'll be fine. And then you can make your enchiladas, you can make tacos. I actually found canned taco meat, shelf-stable canned taco meat. So I bought it. I mean, I've never tried it. It's still in the pantry, but it's like it's there. And as long as it's in good shape when I open it, yeah, darn right we'll use it when we need to. So, anyways, that is today's little input, and I felt the most important to get started on is food disparity. Now, I think the next one we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about housing, because that's also going to be a concern here in the near future. So we'll go ahead and cover that on the next one. But for now, definitely, comment if you know of some other ideas, some pantry ideas, anything that I left out, because obviously, how do you cover, every pantry item or shelf-stable item that you can buy? But if you have some good ideas, put it in the comments, share it with everyone, and let's help each other stock our pantries so that we actually have food in there that we can make meals out of. This is for meals, not just, at least I have a can of beans or a can of chili. No, we want to be able to make meals, because once this gets started, we don't know how long it's going to last. And minimum 3 to 4 months, minimum, because we may not see a change for 6 months, but then that change might last a year. So minimum 3 to 4 months, because you'll probably be able to add to it. You won't be living just off your pantry items. You should probably be able to buy some food to add to it which will make the pantry stretch further. So, anyways, comment, and as always, please like, subscribe. I'm new to this, so if you have some advice for me, please do put that in there as well. But be nice, be nice, and I'll definitely take up your advice to try to make this a little bit easier to go through for you. And I do wish you well, and I hope that you're able to get out there, get your pantries, get your cabinets stocked. Again, anywhere you can stuff food, I would stuff food. It's just one of those things that we need to do. We're kind of fortunate. We're having a forewarning of things to come rather than it just hitting us all in one day. So we're lucky. We are lucky. All right then. I'm going to go ahead and stop for today. Again, I wish you well. And if you have any questions, definitely go ahead and send me those questions as well. I'll answer them the best I can. You can also visit our website. Our website is www.cs4UT, or obviously Common Sense for Uncommon Times. So www.cs4, the number 4, ut.com. In our website, it's just getting started. So, but there we do have a little shop there where you can find some really nice cups and t-shirts that have the Common Sense for Uncommon Times logo on it, and they're really kind of cute. I'm kind of happy with them. So enjoy that, and we'll see you soon. Or not see you, but we'll talk with you soon. So comment, ask questions, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.